Good evening, everyone. This is Julia from the Garden of Feeding. And tonight I want to show you how we have placed a lamp into our Easter egger coop because they are our best layers usually, but right now they've completely stopped. And so I have a light in here for them, and we're trying to add on to them at least 4 more hours of light each day. Now today it's been so gloomy that I just left it on because it was gloomy and chilly and didn't seem to bother them much, but we want them to have the extra light to help them to lay. Right now the Easter eggers have stopped laying except for one of them. We're getting one Easter egg from one of them, a blue egg, about every other day or so. My olive egger quit laying, and the only ones that are actually laying are the gold lace Wyandottes, which are down here. And I have kept them in their coop now because they're so aggressive with the other chickens that I really can't let them out because they fight so much with the other chickens. So we're working on expanding all the coops and making them larger. And it's a process, I'll tell you what, it's a process. So there's the sun going down. I know you can't see it with my camera. And the temperature is dropping. And it was down to 40, I think, last night, going down to 40 tonight. And so it's extra chilly here in north central Florida. And I know in other states it's just freezing cold. So I'm going to be covering everybody up. And today, also, I wanted to talk to you about something. I've been researching GMOs and natural chicken feed and chicken feed that's organic. And so what's the difference? Well, I found out today that a company can be non-GMO and still have pesticides and herbicides on their feed. Their feed can be grown with pesticides and herbicides, but just be not non-genetically engineered, not changed genetically. And so when you see the non-GMO verified, that's really great. But guess what? That's not perfect because you're still getting fertilizer and pesticides on your chicken feed. What are you going to do about that? We know that a lot of fertilizers and herbicides can cause cancer. And so when you're feeding it to your chicken, and you're feeding your eggs to yourself, and you're eating your chickens, you're eating that. That's whatever you feed that chicken is what you are eating. And so we want to change that, and I've been researching that today. And one company told me the only way that you can get a feed that doesn't have pesticides and herbicides on it is that you have to get organic. So now you've got to find feed that is non-GMO organic. You've got to have both those things on there. So that's kind of important to know. So how do you do that? Well, I'm looking into finding sunflower seeds that I can plant and possibly plant them in a greenhouse effect or under a grow light and get them started. But right now in this fall weather, it's time to plant organic rye. And of course there are companies that are online where you can find this, and Amazon is one of them. They have organic rye on there that you can purchase, and all kinds of other great things. But I would suggest, just Julia's personal thing, is shop around your town and look at the feed stores and see what you can find organic and see what you can find organic GMO, and try to be more healthy. Now, why is that important? Because for one thing, a feed or products that are sprayed with pesticides actually kill the honeybees. Now, I didn't like honeybees growing up because I stepped on them. Where I was growing up, my dad and mom were busy. They had 5 children, and so whatever grew in the yard was fine. They just mowed it. They didn't care. And so we had a lot of clover growing in the yard, and the bees were there, and I loved to run barefooted, so I got stung several times running through our yard. And so I didn't like bees, but I like them now, because now a bee is a good pollinator. And without bees, we can't even have corn and a lot of the products that we eat, because they pollinate the foods that you eat. And so also you got to think about this, that greenery and products produce oxygen for our planet. And if we destroy them all by killing all the necessary bugs that were here that actually help these products to grow, if we kill them by spraying all these chemicals on them, you're actually killing the planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so that's why it's really important to think about what you're feeding your chickens. My plan, and I will show you in future videos, is to go back to sunflower seeds that are black oiled sunflower seeds and are organic and non-GMO, and to find barley, millet, and wheatgrass, different kinds of wheat, and products like this. Oats are really great, and try to find oats that are organic. And yes, they are more expensive, but you got to find a way to work it out. I believe that you can grow your own feed. I believe you can do it on even 1/4 of an acre. You can have a garden and grow your own feed. There's enough videos on YouTube to find out how to grow your feed. And so I think that's a really amazing thing. Now, I live in Florida, and Florida is a peninsula. Most of Florida is sand, except for where farmers have come in and changed the dirt and changed the sand. Now, how do we do that? Well, one way that we can change our sand is to plant legumes. And another way that I have actually changed this sand is by having chickens on the lot. The chickens scrape and scratch in this sand, and they fertilize it. And so that has changed the composition of the soil on this property that we are on. When we first got here, it was just pure white sand. And now the composition of this soil has greatly changed. The other problem that I'm having on this Florida land is that oak trees are acidic. And so it really hindered my garden when I was trying to grow a garden straight in the soil. But then when I thought about buying dirt, I wondered what was in that dirt. And is that dirt pure? Does that dirt have chemicals in it that's preventing other things from coming up? And is it poisoning the land? Now, here's another thing to think about. When it rains and the rain washes over all these chemicals that you're putting in the land, and it goes down to your water system, what are you drinking? And what are you pouring over your body every day? Are you pouring water that is full of chemicals that have washed off from all the fertilizers and pesticides that we have put on our soils? So there's some things to think about, and I'll be talking to you again. Good night, everyone. Good night, roosters. Good night, my beautiful chickens.